the fiercest creatures.
Hammer of the gods!
Don't stay for too long, challenger.
Hammer of the gods! Hammer of the gods! A gift from my ancestors! Hammer of the gods!
Welcome back, you filthy exiles, and yeah, no, we really cooked with this one. So as you would have seen in the B-roll, I've been taking down tier 2 pinnacles now, and we're pretty much at the point where we could probably take down, what was it, T4s or whatever it is. Basically where we're at is I switched everything and invested it into Rapid Strike and Ancestral boosting. So what you'll see in my setup is I basically took out a lot of the armor break stuff and additional damage stuff, and I focused on putting in Ancestral Call into my setup for strike skills. Now, what I didn't realize before I did this is there's some pretty crazy stuff that happens with this. So these 3 nodes, when you play Titan, are just straight up 24% nodes. And when you ancestrally boost a skill, you empower it. So basically, when you, I don't think it even says it on here. Yeah, ancestral boosting, and then we hover over. Yeah, they count as being empowered, right? So every 3 seconds, you have an insanely empowered skill. Now, we also use this on the weapon switch. So Hammer of the Gods is actually really misleading in here. So it says like, not a terrible number, like 96,000. But when you have a look at the actual monster damage, when you have a look at the B-roll at the very start, it's hitting for like 2 million DPS. So it hits like a truck. And basically the other thing that's hitting like a truck is my Rapid Assault. So Explosive Spear gets to like not a bad level of damage. And I'll pull the POB and we'll start doing the config page like we do in POE 1 with these guides moving forwards, because I've sort of figured my way through things. Spear Stab gets to like 400,000 DPS on a 5 link. It's ridiculous. But there's a few things that make this build tick. So ancestrally boosting, you can use these nodes here to then boost up your skills, and ancestrally boosted attacks get a 30% just straight flat amount of damage. On heavy stunning a rare unique enemy, your next attack within 4 seconds will be ancestrally boosted as well. So we invested into a lot of stuns. So my defenses are a little bit weedy for a defensive character, and we need to level up 2 more times to basically get up to like 43% block. But basically outside of that, like, we are able to output some absolutely stupid damage. And you'll see like there's a lot of really interesting things about empowered sort of skill setups here. So you could actually like throw more damage in here. There's an aggravate bleed node as well to empower. I'm actually going to play with a bleed setup with this on the Titan, because there's some really cool stuff, or maybe even the Witch Hunter. There's some really cool stuff that we can do with ancestrally boosting skills and then tying that in with stun and heavy stun. It makes sense, right? So that's it for like a bit of a run through the tree. Currently, like, we're leveling up into here 2 to get mana efficiency, because we do chew through mana a fair bit. But we're also throttling attack damage as well. We have armor break. Other things like this node here, this Molten One's gift is like huge damage, so it's fantastic. And then, you know, we do other things like blind on hit, daze on hit, like we're able to get all those stats up. You also would have noticed that I have like 20% shock, and that's because I have lightning on my spear. So with the amount of hits that I'm outputting, I'm able to even shock. And I'll do a separate video to talk about how I crafted my hammer, because I'm actually finding the game is actually not too bad for crafting because essences are actually really, really useful. So if you farm essences, and I'll guess I'll do a video about that. That's a really lucrative way to get this build up and running. But basically all we do is we just like hit the enemy until we heavy stun them, and then we then smack them with Hammer of the Gods, and that's basically the whole build. Now we've got a little bit of mobility here, or like get out of jail free with Thunderous Leap. Does like 120,000 DPS. But yeah, some of the damage stats are totally wild. So just like looking at some of the things that are going on here. So Rapid Strike, I managed to throttle it up to 126,000 DPS on the fourth strike, or the final strike. And then when we bleed aggravate, we do 138,000. If we can find sources of adrenaline, we do stupid amounts of damage, right? And intimidate, we do even more damage. We'll leave that off for the time being. I think we intimidate when we there is a source of intimidate. I just can't remember where it's coming from. So we ramped up rage pretty heavily as well. So that's coming from our helm, but we'll talk about this page soon. Just a couple of other damage stats going on here, so you can see what's going on. Wind Dancer with Gale Force is like 434,000 DPS, is absolutely nuts. And obviously there'll be things that are like perfect and imperfect in this setup too. We do have blind in the build as well, even though it doesn't really do anything to the build. Then we have like Hammer of the Gods. You'll need to like go to items, switch the item. It hits like 721,000. But this isn't like accounting for empowered attacks either. There's some limitations. Like it came up here earlier that I could tick it on. But yeah, there are some limitations around it. And like, see how we don't have rage generation there, but we do actually have like max cap rage because we use this on a weapon switch. So this is quite powerful. And then like a couple of other things. So explosive spear, like on the explode, because we don't have frenzy charge explodes, 318,000 DPS. So like we can fight a boss competently. We've got 15,000 armor, like, you know, 12,000 effective hit pool. It's not like the most defensive build in the world. It's like middle of the line. We're not like one tapping bosses. Well, we one tap map bosses. We're not one tapping pinnacles. But we can burn out a pinnacle and hit them with blind and all that sort of stuff, and then just like hang into the fight and just, you know, take them down pretty quickly. Anyway, I feel like I'm fighting the boss like in a good way with this build, so it's a lot of fun. And there's definitely a lot of other stuff that you can do with this, but really, like, if you were to play this SSF, you would need to farm a Chernoborg's Pillar and a Reslythers, but quite frankly, like, you could approach this build SSF and do it with absolutely no fuss at the end of the day. But that's basically it for the setup. So let's go through the POB and I'll talk about where things are and how they're configured and all the rest of it. And yeah, let's get into the video. Okay, so just talking down the config page. So endurance charges we generate when we break armor, and this is coming from our armor break 3. So basically that's where that's coming from. Now rage, we've got a few sources. So obviously we take battle trance in the tree down here. But in our helm as well, if we have a look at our helm, we have additional rage sitting up here. So we cap up to about 55 rage. Now, the thing that makes rage tick is rapid assault. We use rage 3, which gives us 15 rage on melee hit until we cap out at 55 rage. But we do 15% attack speed when we have maximum rage. So we have like tons of lead room to like go up. It doesn't take too long to get to max rage. But it does mean that you have a really fast amount of upfront damage, which allows you to heavy stun the enemy in the meantime and do an absolute ton of damage. And I think this combination works really well. And so that's it for rage. So have you stunned an enemy recently? We're almost always stunning an enemy within seconds. If you've been hit recently, we get an attack speed buff, and that's from somewhere in the tree. When we get hit, we get attack speed. It's from this node Unyielding, and also our reduced slow potential too, which makes us a lot more offensive. And war cries, we do use the Ancestral cry, which is fantastic. It does stupid damage once you unlock it. You ignite everything, do projectile damage, everything. but yeah, it's pretty cool. You don't need it, but it's definitely a nice to have. Close range, yes. Armor break, yes. We basically invested in a tons of armor break. So we got Molt One's Gift, we've got armor break down here. We removed the armor break over here because it wasn't worth having. So yeah, we do big damage with a lot of armor break, so we don't need to worry too much about that. Are we dazing and are we blinding enemies? Yes. So we have a 5% chance, and it comes from this jewel here. I really lucked out. So that's where that's coming from. Are we heavy stunning? Like, you know, we're a Titan, so that's what we do. And we have tons of stun build up. So we invested a lot in the like stun build up in here. More stun build up in this cluster node down here. Pretty much anywhere where we've got more stun build up with crushing verdict. Pretty much anywhere where we could get stun, we grab stun because it's worth having, right? Burning and ignited, we do a lot of fire damage and we end up igniting enemies, and that actually synergizes really well with overheating blow. And because of this, we do like an extra 25% physical damage as extra fire damage against heavy stunned enemies. So it's 33,000 DPS with rapid strike. So it's a lot. And shocked, we have lightning damage on our spear. So we're shocking enemies with the prolonged amount of hits, or the high frequency of hits that we're putting in. And based on having a look at the footage, we get to about 20% when we're fighting a boss. Which is why I've capped at 20%. And then we have Crushed, which is coming from the Ascendancy. So we're doing crushing impacts, so we're crushing enemies, which is doing a ton of damage. So that's basically where we're at. And we get additional damage from our surprising strength as well. So heavy stun is just doing stupid amounts of damage. The Titan is just strong as hell. But yeah, that's basically how POB config works. We don't have any other weird or wacky stuff adjusted or ticked. It's Guardian Pinnacle boss damage. We do 3 stacks of Wind Dancer, though it's not always on 3 stacks. It's a lot less. But it really doesn't matter. Wind Dancer is a byproduct of defensiveness, and we'll talk about the setup very soon. But yeah, this works pretty well. Okay, so for weapons and gear, this is where the big stuff is. So helm-wise, we got rarity. We've got a lot of like armor converted to elemental damage, or applies to elemental damage. We did also socket in the ferocity soul cores, so we get another +8 rage, and we lucked out and we got a double socket corrupt. Do corrupt a lot of my gear because you get a lot of good stats from it. My spear, I managed to craft this spear. And for anyone who doesn't know, I'll do a video on how to craft these types of weapons. It's super easy with essences. It's not that hard. This isn't perfect, but it does the job. We've got high DPS and +4 to all attack skills, which is really important. We've got 55% stun build up as well, which I really lucked out on. This is not BIS. It can be much higher than this, but this is definitely punching high. Our hammer is ridiculous. So we got 700 physical DPS. +6 to all attack skills. We've also got leech, and we've got like 29 strength on this bad boy too. So by all rights, this is an insane hammer, and this is actually one that I crafted. So I'll do a video where I actually crafted it in the live. It's super easy to get. My amulet, we use Roll and Strike. I found was the best for this. So Roll and Strike is actually a node on the tree that's for spears, which gives you like 20% damage and 10% attack speed. Super good for any build that uses spears to anoint on. You just get stupid amounts of damage. And then basically we've got Spirit, Intelligence, and the biggie is damage taken recouped as life. It's really important. You basically need that on any amulet you run. You could get away without the armor roll, but yeah, this is going to be BIS. If you could get plus to gem, that'd be great, but I actually found things like damage recoup is way more important for that little bit of defense. And then we're using Chernoborgs, so obviously we run blocks, so we convert that to 1% of fire damage. And then our chest piece we got really lucky with. We managed to triple roll, and we just basically socketed in greater iron runes. We got to nearly 2,000 armor, a lot of life, a lot of resistance, and a lot of good regeneration as well. Rings, resistances, life per enemy killed's good, and any rarity you can stack up. And the other one too, you do need to have a source of mana leech, because this is a really mana hungry build, and we don't use blood magic because we just don't regenerate enough. So yeah, mana leech is needed on at least one of the rings, and then we're working with that in the POB right now. So then on our gloves, we want attack speed gloves. We want armor applied to elemental damage and resistances and life if you can get it. I couldn't with mine, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. And as far as Reslythers, like for any striker build like this, or I'm going to call it, yeah, I'm going to call them strike builds or striker builds. You want to go for high percentage maximum physical damage and low percentage minimum damage, so that's the max roll. I think I paid 1 div for mine, but the problem with it is 1 charm socket, so it's currently a bit of a disadvantage, but we'll have to upgrade that out to min-max it more. And then boots, we've just got 30% movement boots, good amount of life, rarity, and I've had to stack up attributes to get me just over the line because I didn't really focus so much in my POB about attributes, and it's really, getting me back now. I am running a Forsaken Bangle. Obviously, it's just really good when you take chaos damage. You don't really notice chaos damage being taken, which is good. And Melting Maelstrom, which, just drops when you do pinnacles. So I was like, might as well use it. It's pretty good. And that's it for the gear. Like, it's not a complicated build to configure. Okay, so gem setups is where it's at. Don't really worry about spear stab, mace strike, spear throw, raise shield, all irrelevant. Rapid assault, we run armor explosion, armor break 3, ancestral call 2, rapid attacks, and rage 3. And obviously we got a level 20 gem as well that I lucked out on. Explosive spear I do run, but I don't really use it much. We use elemental armament 2, fire pen 1, short fuse, heft, and exploit weakness. So we need to break armor to do full damage with this. I've got Herald of Ash with magnified effect, fire mastery, and vitality. Wind Dancer, which has armor break 3, heft, armor explosion, heavy swings, and life leech. So we do get a good source of leech from this because it hits for so much damage. We then use overwhelming presence with precision. Arguably, we could actually use mana regeneration because we're doing upfront damage, and thinking on this mana regeneration would actually be a lot better, and it would be the same cost of 10 spirit. Ancestral Cry, we run a 6-link with prolonged duration, magnified effect, jagged ground, elemental armament, and enraged warcry. Then our Hammer of the Gods, we're running Fist of War 2, heft, exploit weakness, heavy swings, and rage forged 2. You could actually run Fist of War 3, and that would do even more damage. I haven't tested it, but now thinking on it, it could be really good. But I sort of think every 4 seconds is better than 14 seconds with Fist of War 3. So I still think Fist of War 2 is better. We're then obviously running Berserk, and we've got that at level 18. Hopefully get it to level 20 soon. And that's just giving us an extra 67% increased effective rage. And then we do have Thunderous Leap with Fist of War 2, heft, Holy Descent for Consecrated Ground, which gives us big regeneration, and rapid attacks as well. This is just a bit of clear. It does the job. It's not perfect, but it is what it is. Okay, so we drastically changed the tree. And so some of the changes is we got rid of the stacking of defenses because this game does not reward you for stacking defenses. This game rewards you for front load damage. It's one of the things that annoys me, but it is what it is. So hulking form, crushing impacts, and surprising strength. You just do stupid amounts of damage with this. Basically, you build on Titan, you want to run this. Don't waste your time running like Mysterious Lineage or anything like that. Unless you're running like a Bone Shatter build that can't work with crushing impacts, then this is basically the route to go. And so we rejigged this a bit. So we pulled back the melee damage nodes. We put into stun investment, which works really well. We came down and we just take blurred motion now and the lay siege nodes and nothing else in this cluster. And then we come up, we grab Blood Rush because we want to try and get our mana cost down a little bit. And then we also want to grab Price of Freedom if you can afford that. Into Burning Strikes, into Stopping Barrier, then down into Beef. We also want Vigilance. In here, I've just got a Heart of the Well that dropped for me. I was really lucky because I got 14% extra damage as cold. Then we want to synergize with Stun. So we want to run Breaking Blows and we want to run Honorless. Then obviously we're running Empowerment, and this is the big one here. So Empowered Attack Damage, it's like 3 nodes, it's super cheap and easy to get to. Crushing Verdict, then all the way into Punctured Lung, and you want to go all the way around here. You want these 30% nodes because that's big damage. And also Armor Break means enemies cannot be regenerated, cannot regenerate, and we also maim. Then we start ancestrally boosting stuff, so into guided hand. You could go into channeled heritage, but I just don't have enough points to get there at the moment. This is just going to scale your AoE, and my AoE is already pretty good. It's a single target that needs the work. Then we come all the way down. We want to go to Battle Trance. Into Molten One's Gift is by far one of the best armor break nodes in the game. Up into Unyielding, we want to take the attack speed nodes as well, so we get a lot of attack speed out of this. And that's basically it. Now, our jewels, we have like, our main focus is 20% increased damage with hits against rare and unique enemies. So that's basically what you want to be focusing on. I haven't got the guts to corrupt that and ruin that because it's a really good jewel. Then we come up and grab Made to Last. We want the armor nodes because we want to focus on armor. We want to come up and grab Overheating Blow. That's going to give us tons of damage. Again, we've got another 20% node there with attack speed. And then we come up and get In Your Face and move into Projectile Bulwark. A lot of the times when you get rolled in maps, it's because of projectiles. So this means you get 120% armor against projectiles and a 30% uplift if you're just running around and you get hit. So it's pretty useful. So this works pretty damn well. Like overall, I think this tree is almost perfect for this type of build. Yeah, if you want to run Mace Strike, honestly, if you had a good one-handed mace, you could run Mace Strike like a monster with this. It'd be fantastic. But yeah, we have a few more levels to go, but that's basically it for the POB. Okay, and that's it for the build. So basically, I'll update the mobalytics. I'll also provide the POB down below, which I've fleshed out. And yeah, I'll finish the write-up on the mobalytics tonight as well. And so you can have a look and see how it all synergizes and works together. And yeah, we'll keep pushing this a little bit more. I think the next build I'm going to do, though, is going to be an original Sin Chayula Monk with Fangs of Frost, because that just seems like it's off-meta enough to try. And yeah, that should hopefully hit like a truck and do big AoE. And I also got a Cold Ring that would work really well with that too. Anyway, well, there's a lot of builds I want to play. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to like and sub to the channel, and to the Twitch and all the other good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys later.